The title 2:34 am. Every night, at this exact time, something terrifying happened to Ishan. At exactly 2:34 am, Ishan suddenly woke up in the middle of the night. He felt thirsty, so he quietly got out of bed and went downstairs to drink some water. But after drinking water, something made him curious. He walked into the living room and looked up at the clock. Ishan was shocked. The wall clock had stopped. It showed 2:36 am, but it was not ticking at all. His name was Ishan. Filled with curiosity, he dragged a chair closer, climbed up, and checked the clock. He wanted to see the battery, but what he found was strange. Ishan looked inside the clock, and his breath caught in his throat. There was no battery inside. For a moment, he just stared at it, confused and afraid. How could the clock still be working without a battery? And before he could make sense of it, a sudden knocking sound came from the main door. Ishan slowly stepped toward the door, ready to open it. But just then, his older brother walked into the living room. Seeing Ishan awake at that hour, he stopped and looked at him in surprise. Ishan quickly tried to explain the strange clock and the knocking at the door.
What are you doing here at this time?
The clock is not working and someone is knocking on the door.
Ishan looked at his brother in fear. At that hour, even his brother felt something was wrong. In a serious voice, he warned Ishan not to open the door. Frightened, Ishan stepped back at once. But before they could move away, the knocking came again, this time louder, harder, and far more aggressive.
At this time, who could it be?
Don't open the door. Come upstairs right now.
Scared, both brothers ran to their parents and told them everything. Their father checked the door, but no one was outside. Then he checked the clock, and this time, there was a battery inside.
Dad, someone was knocking and the clock had no battery.
We both heard it.
Stay here. I'll check. There's no one outside. Look, the battery is inside.
His father scolded Ishan for lying at midnight. The next morning, Ishan still could not stop thinking about what had happened.
Stop making up stories at night.
But I'm telling the truth.
The next night, at the same time, Ishan woke up again and went downstairs to drink water. But just as he reached the door, the knocking started again. Suddenly, Ishan woke up. It was only a nightmare. But when he looked at the clock again, it was showing the same time, and it had stopped once more. This time, Ishan opened the door without hesitation. But there was no one outside. Then, just few seconds later, a terrifying scream of woman echoed through the night. And Ishan screamed too. Ishan, screaming. Ah! Ishan checked the clock again. And once again, there was no battery inside. Then the knocking returned. But this time, a soft voice came from outside the door.
Ishan, please open the door.
The voice was soft and gentle, like a young woman's voice. Ishan was scared, but this time it did not feel like a dream. Just then, his father came downstairs and saw him awake.
Why do you always wake up at the same time? Because of the clock and the knocking.
His father smiled and asked Ishan to come with him. When they reached the door, Ishan finally learned the truth. The knocking sound was coming from their hen in the backyard.
Dad, how do you know this?
Come with me to the door.
Then his father explained the second mystery. The clock was old, and it did not always work properly. At last, Ishan began to understand everything.
The clock is old. Sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't.
Then why did you scold me that night if you knew this?
I found out later, when I came.
After that, Ishan went to sleep. But suddenly, he remembered the sweet voice. He looked toward the window and froze. A woman was standing outside, holding a clock showing रात के 2:34. Ishan screamed and woke up again. Hearing his scream, his mother rushed into the room, angry and worried.
You have to stop watching horror movies at night. You are banned for 1 month.
Mom, it felt real.
His brother only laughed at him. Ishan got angry and started crying while his brother kept teasing him.
You are still a kid. Go watch cartoons.
Stop it.
In the end, the clock, the knocking, and the woman were only fears created in Ishan's mind. Late night horror movies had turned his fear into dreams. Moral: what you feed your mind at night can shape your fears in the dark.